We're going to start. Thank you for that. All right, I asked a question on Facebook this morning, and the question that I asked is, why do people quit? Why do we give up? Why do we take our foot off the gas? Why do we look for detours? And here's what I can tell you guys. In 6.5 years of being a team leader, I've interviewed more than 3,780 real estate agents. It's a lot, right? Yeah. Now, I've hired more than 1,200 real estate agents. That's a lot too, right? Yeah. Now, the Market Center, when I took over in July of 2015, we had 62 associates. We're at 344 today. Now, that's growth and that's awesome. But if I've hired more than 1,200 agents and we've grown by, let's just call it 300, that means 900? Am I doing the math right? Didn't stay. Where did they go? If I've hired over 1,200 agents and we're at 344 agents today, we've grown by roughly 300 agents. I'm rounding off, guys. Where did they go? Right? I got 3 emails yesterday from agents that informed me they were going to go in a different direction. And it usually sounds like there's 4 or 5 different stories that I'll get, and they're all pretty much the same. And it got me thinking when I was preparing for today's Survive to Thrive conversation. And I got into my favorite book. And I wanted to know what would Andy Andrews have to say about this, right? And I went to page 158. So if you've got a copy of The Traveler's Gift, that's where you're going to want to go to read this message. And here's what Andy Andrews shares. And before I share this with you, I got to kind of share the story of The Traveler's Gift. Raise your hand if you've read the book. Okay, most of you have not. Amazing book, right, Clarissa? Please read it. Yeah. Traveler's Gift. Amazing. Right? If you're in the room, just hit a thumbs up in the chat. Or yes, I've read it, so I can see who's read the book, okay? And in the story of The Traveler's Gift, David Ponder is traveling through time, visiting with 7 historical characters. 7 historical individuals. And in each one of these destinations, he's learning a principle for success in life, spiritual success in business. He's learning these principles that will set him up for the rest of his life. And he's on this journey because he is at a time in his life where he is going through a very difficult time. I think the way he references it in the beginning of the book is the worst part of his life. And he has a car accident, and the next thing you know, he's traveling through time, visiting these individuals. Now, the last destination is this warehouse. And this warehouse is, I don't want to ruin the story for you. I want you to read the book, but this warehouse is absolutely the pivotal point of this book. This is the jaw dropper. He's in a warehouse where the very first thing he sees is pictures, and pictures that are stacked from the floor to as high as he could possibly see, which is forever. There's no ceiling to this place. It just goes to the sky and beyond, and it's hundreds of yards long. And there are pictures of children. He's like, what is that? And then he discovers wheelchairs and bicycles and carpets and rocking chairs. And there's another part of the warehouse where he discovers on pieces of paper, and he could tell that some of them are really old and some of them are newer, and they're mathematical equations, they're formulas, they're blueprints for inventions that could have changed the world. And the person that he visits in this warehouse is Gabriel, the archangel. And at one part in the story, he says, "What is this place?" And he's just lost it. I mean, he's at the end of his rope. And he's just doesn't know what to do, doesn't know what to say. And he asks, "What is this place?" And Gabriel's response is, "It's the place that never was." Now that causes chills for me. He says, "This is where everything exists that was about to come into existence, until the person who was going to bring it into existence gave up right before they did. It's the place that never was." Now, here's what he shares on page 158. David Ponder asked Gabriel, "What am I supposed to learn here?" Gabriel smiled and sat down beside David on the floor. "You must know," he began, "that in the game of life, nothing is less important than the score at halftime. The tragedy of life is not that man loses, but that he almost wins." David shook his head slowly. Why do we quit? Great question. Why do we quit? Why do I quit? Why do I ease off? Why do I detour everything in my life? When things get tough, most people give up, or they look for a detour, an easier way. Those emails that I get that say, "John, I'm changing the direction of my real estate career." They might as well have said, "I'm looking for a detour because this is too hard." Gabriel responded instantly, "As a human, you detour and ease off because you lack understanding. You quit because you lack faith." One of the questions I'll ask real estate agents when they're giving up or they're about to give up is, if you were hitting your goals, would we be having this conversation? When we first sat down and you told me what your goals were, you got your real estate license because you wanted to build a career worth having, a business worth owning, a life worth living, a legacy worth leaving. Nobody sets out to be average. Nobody sets out on a journey to not complete the journey. I'm going to drive in my car from here to Cincinnati, Ohio, and I hope I get there. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. I go for a walk every morning. I've never stopped and thought, wonder if I'll make it home. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. This is going to get hard. I'm going to look for a detour. I'm just going to sit right here on the grass and spend the rest of my life sitting on the grass. The reason I don't is I have faith. I know that I'm going to reach my destination. If you knew you were going to reach your destination, you would never quit. You would never give up. You would never look for a detour. Why are you? For one thing, David responds with understanding about what? Because Gabriel had told him we lack understanding. And David's response was, understanding of what? What don't I understand? For one thing, you do not understand that constant detours do not bring a man into the presence of greatness. Detours do not build muscle. Detours do not provide life's lessons. Between you and anything significant, there will be giants in your path. Easing off does not make the going easier. Neither does it guide one to the desired destination. Most men and women ease off when the going is rough. Most slow down when the road appears treacherous. There are times when you must feel the weight of your future on your shoulders, the throbbing, unstoppable strength of destiny coursing through your veins. Times of calamity and distress have always been producers of the greatest men and women. There is one thing that everyone who has achieved anything great in life, there is one thing they all have in common. And it's one word. It's adversity. Adversity prepares us for greatness. Now, when you face adversity, you can either respond with, why me? Why is this happening to me? Or you can respond with, why not me? Who am I that I wouldn't be faced with this adversity? And besides, adversity is preparation for greatness. I am prepared for greatness. I accept this challenge. The hardest steel is produced from the hottest fire. The brightest star sheds the darkest night. Okay, talk to me. Larry.
The agents that contacted you, the three of them, were they on the younger side? Not just new agents, I mean younger in terms of age. Because I find many of the younger people, life is easy for them. I simply pick up my phone instead of having a piece of paper and a pencil, and I say, hey, Google or Siri, tell me everything I want to know.
Well, Larry, we live in a microwave society, right? And I get what you're saying from that perspective. However, I would tell you that when it comes to looking for a new direction, when it comes to looking for a detour, looking for an easier way, or looking or giving up, there is no common group. It's everyone, including me, guys. Do you think I live my life somehow free from adversity? Do you think there's ever been a point in my 7 years of being a team leader? Do you think I never thought about giving up? Do you think there was never a time when I thought, I'm done with this. I'm going to go do something else? I promise you, I've had many of those days. Vicki, I'll come back to you, Larry. Vicki and then Megan.
I just cannot tell you how much I love that book and how those words are just so resonating with me. I grew up in a very Midwestern family where we had values, and my parents taught me hard work pays off no matter what it is. So whatever you're doing in your life, you have to take full responsibility because it's your life's choice. We all have the choice. And if we want to succeed, we have to understand